Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to talk about how to make spin wings on your arrows. So spin wings for me have been a major issue. Sticking them on by hand has been fiddly and I've been struggling to draw the lines, I've been struggling to stick them on the lines, I've been struggling to see. So that's the first thing. So I've found it often easier and I get better results with plastic vanes. Let's just call that straight out. Now, it's always been a question for me, all your Olympic archers are going to be shooting spin wings, spin vanes, whatever you want to call them. So I was like, well, what's the solution for me? So an archer came into my shop and said, would you like to buy this? I was like, what is it? And he goes, it's a wing thing. I'm like, I've never heard of it. It's like, what is it? He says, it's a Fletching jig for fletching spin wings. I'm like, that sounds a bit weird. So he shows me the video of the person who makes this wing thing, and like it looks okay. And I'm like, how much do you want for it? I think he says 20 bucks. Oh, okay, I'll try it for 20 bucks. I'm going to show you how it works. Now, there's a thing about making something really smart, and there's another thing about marketing it and selling it. So first off, this is really smart. Really, really smart. Whoever thought of this and designed this is smart. Much smarter than me, and is obviously some sort of engineer, because this is genius. So it's done on a 3D printer. This is thinner plastic here, thicker here. Now, to move the spin wings down the shaft, you move this. This is going to be the rod that holds the spin vane. So move it up this way, closer to the nock. This way, closer to the front of the shaft. This is your knocking point here. So you're basically your three positions. And they're numbered. Very clever. 1, 2, 3. Very clever. So first off, he's a clever dude, whoever invented this. And he needs to market it. Like, I don't know how a person in my club found this. Apparently there's a couple of them in my club. And no one's told me about it. So anyway, so you've got this little rubber band thing. Your arrow goes in there. And if you can see, which I struggle with at the best of times, that's it. Your arrow's ready for fletching. And you can see it's pretty solid. Now to change the angle on the spin vane, so if you want to change the angle on the shaft, or it's too high or too low, you've got a little adjustment at the front here. Now I put a bit of angle on my spin vane to encourage it to spin. Whether I should or shouldn't, that's another question. I do, right? But anyway, so I've got this moved down a bit because I want it sort of like that angle, so the tail hits it and causes more rapid spinning, right? So because I figure if you've got the thing spinning, you know, if you want it to spin, encourage it to spin. Now the spin vane is going to go in here. This just hooks on like that, and then you push that up there, and that's it. It's done. Now, when I was fletching my vanes before, I was getting them all not perfectly in the three areas. Now I'm going to say it probably doesn't make much difference, but I was getting different angles on the spin vanes, and maybe that doesn't make any difference either, because the vane seems to shoot okay with just 2 spin vanes or the 3 spin vanes on it. But I like the fact this is symmetrical and looks pretty good. So let's take it through how to do this. Now I don't sell these vanes. I haven't been in contact with him, see if he does wholesale or anything like that. Now what would be good in these, if instead of having this jig, he'd have a normal one to stick plastic vanes on. Be a simple change. And that way you can run either spin vanes or normal vanes on the same jig. Now I think he sells these jigs for about 50 bucks, and I think they're priceless. I think he's sold out, whoever the person is. I always find it weird, because if I made something like this, I'd be contacting the shops and going, hey, would you be interested in these? And let's say you wanted 50 bucks for them. You say, well, I want 50 bucks for them. You can sell them for what you want, 70 bucks. They would sell, and you'd sell 10 times as many of them than he would sell on wherever he sells them on. And but people don't. I had a guy who used to make tabs in my state, and he was like a friend, and I was like, well, how much for me? Like, because I have all these people coming in wanting these tabs, and I'll buy them off you. He's like, no, I just sell them to people direct. I think he sold about 3 or 4. It's like, well, it's pointless. Anyway, So spin vane goes in, so you can see the little thing. Now I'm gonna stick the little tape on there, which is like a bit tricky. So this is 3M tape. The veins I'm using are Pandarus veins. I really like them. They are very much like the spider vane. They're a similar shape to the spider vane, if not the same shape as the spider vane. They are a very rigid spin vane. I find them very durable, and they are quite rigid. So that's it. There's a spin vane on there, nice and simple. So when I used to do spin wings, fletching them, they took me a bit of time. I can knock these ones up pretty quick. So tape comes off. That goes on there, and you push it up against there like that. Let's see if I can do it one-handed, like that. And then you simply pull that off, and that's it. That's it, spin vane done. Then to get the next one, pull this out because it's held on the other end by a rubber band. Turn it around and repeat the process. Like it seems pretty good to me. Like maybe I need more angle on that spin vane. Really like it. Really, like if you're a recurve shooter and you've got to shoot spin vanes, look, some people don't have the problems of fletching spin wings. So I'm going to say that straight up. I didn't used to when I was younger. I don't know if it's my eyes now or something, but these seem to sit in like there. You can see like you've got a little ridge left over at the top there. I don't know, I think he's got a little ridge there and it just sits in and seems pretty good. So I'm at shooting a tournament and one of my old friends comes up, Michael, and I knew Michael from when I was, I'm going to say, geez, was it when I was a junior? From when I was a kid? Maybe. He's the same age as me. Maybe. Because he used to shoot compound, now he shoots recurve, and now he shoots barebow recurve, and you probably know him. Anyway, so he turns up at a tournament the other day, and he's shooting like little spin vanes. And I said, I thought you shoot just normal vanes because you get better results with them. And he said, well, I get better results with no vanes on my arrow. I'm like, that sounds weird. He goes, no, I shoot higher scores with no vanes on my arrow, but for world championships, they make me have vanes. Okay. And anyway, so he's got the smallest spin vanes he can find, and I think he's running Gas Pros, like little, and they're very soft. And he goes, because I shoot better without vanes. So these are the smallest, least resistant vanes. I'm like, okay, it seems weird. But if it works for him, it works for him. There's number 2 done. So yeah, so Michael came from Sydney, and I'm probably going to the right thing. People are like, why do you talk so much? Anyway, Michael comes from Sydney. So this is part of the history of archery, right? And he was a good compound shooter at the time. I don't know if he won nationals, but he's definitely towards the top, right? This is as a junior. Switches to recurve. And my partner has the hots on him. She thinks he's a bit of alright. Which is fine for Michael, because I'm sure lots of women thought he was a bit of alright. And anyway, she's an archer. And she's like, oh, can you put me on the same target as him? I'm like, sure, if that's what you want. That relationship never lasted. Not between Michael and her. But I don't know if they were on the same target or not. I just remember her asking, and I'm like, that relationship's not lasting. I mean, can you imagine roles reversed? Guy says to his girlfriend, hey, can you put me on a target with a really hot girl? There. like, no guy would be brave enough or dumb enough to suggest such a thing. It's okay when a girl suggests it. I'm probably going to suggest most girls wouldn't suggest it, but anyway, she did. They sort of stuck with me. I'm like, oh, well, that's all right. Me and my failed relationships. Right, there, next one. I forgot to do the turning of the little jig. There. Anyway, like in archery, it amazes me how many people's lives are intertwined. Like Michael becomes a postie in Canberra, so he moves state, and I think his sister, yeah, I'm sure she did. I'm sure his sister married one of my friends who I shot in the junior nationals with when I was 14. I'm sure she did. So Peter, and Peter's still friends. So there's that, and there's that, and that's it finished. Now you're just going to put the little black tape on. Anyway, so he's a postie, and I don't think I knew at this stage that he's a postie. I don't know if he'd stopped shooting for a bit or what. Anyway, there's that. Anyway, I started dating my postie. So she's comes into the shop to pick up my mail every day, and I thought she was a bit of a good looker, and I was single at the time. I'm like, oh, you want to go out on a date? Anyway, turns out she works with Michael. Oh, that one didn't last either. Okay, so there's that one done. Look, I really like this black tape. There's different types of black tape. Some are elastic, so spin wings use like a plastic tape. This is more like a fabric tape. Some are like a paper tape. But you can see like it sticks to my fingers. It's very light, quite tough. Now, price point, $20 for the spin vanes. For the Panderis ones. I had a guy come in who literally was the best archer in the state a few months ago until everyone else started training really hard and he was working too hard. And that's it. There's a spin vane done and I'm really happy with that outcome. And he goes, I really like these spin vanes, Panderis. He goes, they're really robust, really durable. I'm like, yeah, I really like them too. Look, I try stuff. If I get better results, I swap. It's that simple. I literally have tried every spin vane on the market except for the Gas Bros. I have like quite a few. That's the only one I haven't tried, I'm sure. But I really like these. These are so stiff. I don't get any damage through them hitting the bow. The only damage I get through them shooting each other. But they're pretty good. Really like them. So the wing thing jig. This is good. He's got little markings down here. It bolts on with a little thing. I think he's changed it in the later designs a little bit, but this is good. This is really good for fletching spin vanes. If you're a recurve archer, crazy good idea. I don't know if it's available on the internet, the designs for it or what, but I know he has a little eBay store where he sells them. But he should be in America. It should be in Europe. It should be around the world, this thing. It's very clever. And like I said, if you're selling them on eBay for $50, that includes postage, I'm pretty sure. You should be selling them in Europe for, $40 and then let the wholesalers mark up their $20 or $30, whatever they're marking up. And these should be in every archery shop around the world. And there's hundreds of archery shops around the world. Hundreds. And if you scale up to that size, instead of this being printed on your 3D printer, you get them printed by like resins or something, and everything improves and costs come down, and but this is the go. It's clever, Australian guy, I don't know who he is, and you can change the position on the knock. I'm going to pull this out. So he's got two of these that come with it. So I'm set for recurve. If you want to set for a different angle, you got a little scrub screw on the back. So you can just rotate it around. Oh, he's a clever dude. Like, very clever. And probably at some stage someone will say, oh, he's an engineer, or maybe he's a 10-year-old kid. I don't know. But very, very clever dude. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. That's the wing thing, and I think it's well worth getting if you're shooting spin wings. And I'm going to say, unless you're shooting really high scores, I don't think there's a purpose in shooting spin vanes, because the maintenance is too high, the time to do it is too high, and the costs more expensive than a plastic vane. So unless you're shooting elite scores, I wouldn't be shooting them. I'd be sticking with straight plastic vanes. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand. Thanks for watching.